Hello, apple farmers. Welcome back to the channel. I want to thank you all for those who have subscribed. You give me the motivation to bring you more content. And if you are new here, you're welcome. You are in the right place. Kindly subscribe, share these videos to spread the message of apple farming in Nigeria and indeed in Africa. Also like this video and click on the notification icon so that when we upload new videos, you will be notified. So in today's video, I would like to point out some things about our agricultural potentials in this country. Our potentials are quite enormous. We, however, are not taking full advantage and extracting the maximum value that we need to extract from our agric potentials, in my opinion. We complain of poverty, unemployment, and all the likes, but we are not thinking to maximize our agric potentials in a bid to using it to solving some of these problems, which I believe it can very much solve for us. No need to wait for government, to start some of these things for us. It is Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, the online marketplace, which is quite popular, that said that in any sector that governments go into, then there is no more opportunity there.
Why this make it? Why people cannot find opportunities, you can find opportunities. And I think people, same here today. Jack, where is the opportunity? I don't have a job. I don't have this, I don't have that. I remember 20 years ago, I hated Bill Gates. I say, he took all the job, He's such a great. And Larry Page, Bill Gates, and every success people, they did it good. And why I didn't have this chance? The same question like you. And later I calmed down myself. And luckily, I win. I tell you, I'm lucky to know a lot of famous people. Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Jack Welch, Larry Page, Mark Zuckerberg. I know all of them. I would like to share with you that those people, the difference between those people and other people, they are always optimistic for the future. They never complain. They always try to solve the problems of the others. And I think, where is the opportunity? The opportunity always lies in the place where people complain.
I like to look for opportunities. I like to look for opportunities in every situation rather than complain. And so I've taken a good look around. And in my environment, especially in northern Nigeria as a whole, but in northern Nigeria in particular, open grazing of animals is still the norm. And although some states, especially southern parts of Nigeria, have outlawed open grazing, it is still a difficult thing to control. In the north here, I'm not aware of any government that has banned open grazing. And so it is not uncommon to see herds of cattle roaming around, within the city, obstructing traffic some of the times, and, eating up people's farmlands and all that. And this open grazing has been the reason for frequent bloody clashes between farmers and herders in this country. So you will wonder how this is related to apple farming, since this channel is about apple farming. But I think it is related in two ways, two main ways, I think. But there could be other ways, other than what I'm going to talk about now. And if you know any other way that you think they are related to apple farming, you can put it in the comment section down below. So one of these ways that grazing of cattle affects you as an apple farmer is the need for fencing your farm. In this environment, northern Nigeria, for instance, if you really want to do apple farming in a considerably large scale, then you need to consider fencing your farm. That will mean an additional cost, but it is a cost that is worth it if you look at what you will lose, what you stand to lose if you do not fence your farm. And this fence doesn't have to be a concrete fence or a block fence. It can even be a makeshift material, maybe old roofing sheets and all that. But you must, try to secure your land. Otherwise, the goats and cattle that are grazing around freely can just go there and help themselves with your hard earned, I mean, your apples that you have spent a lot of money to acquire. Now, the second way that this kind of animals around affect you as an apple farmer is in the supply of manure. Now, this is maybe a good one because if you want to do apple farming, especially organic farming, and which is what I try to do and I recommend, because if for anything, organically farmed produce commands higher prices, both locally and internationally. So if you try to do organic farming, then you need manure, okay? And with this many cows around, the manure is quite cheap around here. You can get a 100 kg bag of it for as little as 700 naira. Now, 700 naira in naira, in dollar terms today, is about $1. So it is that cheap. But if you are going to big scale apple farming and you're going to have, say, thousands of trees, now the cost can add up and become enormous. And in that case, it may make sense for one to start keeping a few heads of cattle in a zero grazing system. That way, you are guaranteed of ample supply of cow dung on a daily basis. But not just that, there is still something we can do with cow dung before to make it an even better fertilizer before applying it to our crops. And that is channeling it into what is called the biodigester, where it is further digested and methane gas, which is a good, clean cooking gas, is released. And you can trap that and use as cooking fuel, especially in these days when liquefied petroleum gas prices are hitting the roofs. In Nigeria here, LPG prices in the last 12 months have tripled, more or less, and people are looking for alternatives. And for the alternatives for most people is to chop down trees, and use it as charcoal or as direct firewood, which in itself is not good for the environment. So as an apple farmer, you can have a side cattle farm, maybe some dairy cows, where you'll be getting the milk from them, and they will be in turn will be giving you the manure that you need for your large scale apple farming. So after the biodigestion, the bioslurry, which is a liquid, almost non-smelly and organic fertilizer that is ready to be absorbed by the roots of your plants, is the end product that you get from biodigestion. So that can be directly fed onto your apple farms and, keeping your crops healthy at all times. So I hope I have created some values in this video, and I hope to see you again in the next video, where I want to show you how I'm beginning to propagate Wambugu apples following, some issues that I have with the place that I initially planted that warranted my relocating the apples. So I lost quite some apples, and from among the remaining ones, I want to begin propagating them so that I can have thousands and even millions of trees subsequently as